welcome to our information session on the added value of the test tools section within the new version 3 of the ISTQB Certified Tester Advanced Level Test Management Syllabus. My name is Andreas Neumeister. I am a member of the ISTQB Advanced Level Working Group and the lead author of the test tools section of our new version of the test management syllabus. In today's session, I will describe a project situation that I have recently been involved in and take you through the process of making decisions about tools and how the information in the new test management syllabus will guide you through this process. I will conclude with a summary of the benefits of the test tools section within the new version 3 of the ISTQB Advanced Level Test Management Syllabus. So let's dive right into it. In my recent project, I was in the role of a test manager. The company was following the safe working model, and the full system included 2 full solutions with 15 agile release trains and over 300 people being part of the development teams covering different activities. The full system included new microservice architecture, cloud parts, as well as legacy systems that had been in place for more than 30 years. There were different release strategies. For example, the legacy systems were released only twice a year, so every 6 months, while the microservice components were released every 2 weeks, so at the end of each sprint. There were also many different stakeholders inside and outside the organizations with an interest into the whole system. So I had a lot of different issues to keep track of. As a test manager, I focused on the following tasks. I focused on the reporting and dashboards to actually provide all the stakeholders with the information that they require for their decision making. I wanted to have dashboards for the different testing environments because it was at least 8 test environments running all the time, and I need to know about the state at every time. I wanted to have a defect management in place that actually not covers just the defect from one development project, but also from the whole project, including the 2 solutions, the 15 agile release trains, and the more than 300 people. And that wasn't implemented when I joined the project, so actually I needed to implement that. I wanted to have the traceability coming from the HI requirements, so the epics, the features, the capabilities, the stories, going to the test part, so the test set, the test case, the test runs, and following that, I wanted to have a linkage to the defects that are being found while executing the test cases, so having the full traceability from the requirement over the test to the defects. I wanted to have smoke tests in place to actually know the state of my system all the time and also know if my test environments are up and running. And there was also a lot of API testing required because obviously having a microservice architecture, there are a lot of APIs in place, and having different development teams working on them, there's always a different state of the development, and therefore I might need mock testing, I might need contract testing, but all of that is API testing, and that is one of my big issues. Obviously, I need tools to help me with these activities. So let's dive into that part where I actually find the tools that I require for my tasks and how I can actually solve the issues that I have and the challenges that I have to face with the tools that are being on the market and that I can choose from. There are different types of test tools. And the type usually focuses on the task that it actually fulfilled. For example, if I want to have reporting or a dashboard, there are test management tools that can provide that, but there are also reporting and dashboard tools that actually can also provide me with that functionality. For the defect management, there are certain defect management tools that can give me the functionality that I require, but also a test management tool might be able to help me here. For the traceability, a test management tool is a very good option. For the smoke testing, I need functional testing tools. For the API testing, there are special API testing tools. So there are types of tools that can help me with challenges that I face being a test manager. And I need to know what type of test tool may help me with what challenge. And as you see here in the example, a test management tool can help me with more than one of my challenges, and therefore will likely be one of the tools that I choose because it might have multiple added values compared to actually other tools that might have just one benefit that I can use in this situation. But we will get into that later on. After knowing that there are certain type of tools, I need to know like what is relevant to actually evaluate a tool and to decide on a tool. So I need to make a checklist like what is the criteria that is required for me as a test manager to actually decide on a tool. And it starts with what exact functionality is required by my project. And that includes all of the stakeholders, not just myself. So for example, if I have certain requirements on a test management tool that are with regards to reporting, I might also take into account what the testers have for requirements for a test management tool, as they, for example, need to write test cases, they need to execute them, they need to report something, and so on. So they are stakeholders of the tools as well, and their requirements regarding the functionality needs to be taken into account as well. Also, I need to make sure that the tool that is being chosen can be integrated into the existing tool landscape. So I don't need a tool that actually can be implemented into the existing process. I need a tool that works well with the whole development organization. There needs a cost analysis to be done for both the initial investment costs and the ongoing maintenance cost to make sure like how much money do I need to spend for the tool initially and over the time being. And that's very relevant, at least for decision makers, because money is always an issue. There is the question if the tool is easy to learn, because there are digital natives, how we call like the younger generation that grows up using technology, but not all of us belong to that generation that actually has easy access to technology and learns new technology very easy. Being in the role that we want to implement a tool, we need to actually also consider that there are people that have a harder time learning, and therefore we want to make sure that the tool actually provides this easy learnability, but also has a good usability, even for people that are not like very common with using technology. And thus, also the support offered by the vendor is a thing to be considered, because there might be organizational restriction when it comes to vendors and their support activities, but there might also be SLAs in place that require a tool to be up a certain time. For example, a tool that actually needs to be up at least 99% of the time, then that needs to be provided also by the vendor, and you need a certain vendor for that. Also, there might be questions regarding regulational, security or data privacy issues that needs to be taken into consideration when actually evaluating on the criteria for test tools. If you now know your evaluation criteria, you can start with the implementation of the tool, because with the implementation criteria, you have a checklist of actually points that you need to fulfill with the new tool, and now you need to actually find tools that fulfill the points on your checklist. And if you got the tool, you actually start with conducting a pilot project. So everything starts in a small place. We started with a Scrum team, like one team started with using the tool at first. And we actually made tests and checked that all the functionality, for example, that we listed down is being provided by the new tool. Before we actually went on with everything, we just checked within the small group of people of the Scrum team that everything that we requested from the tool is being provided. Having done that, we adapted our processes that actually the new tool is being implemented also in our working processes. For example, implementing a new test management tool, and there has to be something before. For example, if you have done your test cases in Excel before or in another tool, you might update your process of test case creation and test case storage with the new tool. And therefore, processes need to be updated. Also, there needs to be a guideline be defined on how to use the tool, that everyone in the project organization uses the tool the same way. to actually make sure that traceability works. You have to link all the test cases to, for example, test sets to requirements, and so on, bugs to the test case where it was actually found. And everyone needs to do that on the same way to actually make sure that you get a reporting that brings you actually beneficial information. You also need to train your staff on how to use the tool. As I've mentioned earlier, not everyone is being used to the tool and learns it very fast. So actually implementing learning sessions and training sessions makes sure that when implementing the tool to the whole project organization, everyone is actually able to work with it. Having all that done, you can start rolling out the tool to the whole project organization, and everyone now is able to use it. The processes are being aligned, guidelines are being defined, so everyone is ready to work. And the last step that you do is now you just need to migrate your test artifacts from the legacy tool. So as I've mentioned, there has to be something before. And if there are artifacts, if there's nothing before, you don't have to migrate anything. If there was a tool before the new tool you implemented, you just migrate your test artifacts to the new tool. And following that, we actually implemented new tools to the project and actually got the challenges covered. So what's the benefit of the Certified Advanced Level Test Manager in version 3 overall when it comes to test tools? It gives you a general understanding of the types and value of test tools. It provides you best practices and steps for the evaluation, but also the implementation. And that makes it actually very easy to have a path to just follow and go from it, like step 1, step 2, step 3, following a actually noted down list of activities bring you to the result that you actually want to have. Also, there are technical and business aspects of tool decisions being mentioned, and that is relevant for both parties, for decision makers, but also for decision proposers, because everyone needs to know what is relevant when it comes to implement a new tool from a technical point of view, but also from a business point of view. And we also covered the financial aspects when it comes to toolings with regards to test, and that includes the return on invest cost, because everyone wants to have actually a good value out of its tool for the cost that it actually has. You get an overview of the tool lifecycle, and that includes, of course, the parts of evaluation and implementation, as I've mentioned already, but it also includes the parts of retirement and what steps actually need to be taken when it comes to retiring a tool. You get an overview about the benefits and the use of tool metrics, and you can get all of that for classic project environments and for agile project environments. And for my example, I was in an agile project environment and could actually follow those steps quite easily, and it led me to the point where I actually can cover my challenges and actually got to the point where I ended the project very successfully. Of course, it needs to be said that it sounds very easy and very fast in this presentation. You won't implement the tool like within minutes, but also not within weeks. The shortest amount of time I required to actually implement the tool in this example was 6 months, but that was more the organizational part that was very hard. But overall, the path was very clear, and I'm very thankful that I had the information being provided in our new test management syllabus to actually lead the way of tool implementation. I thank you for your attention and wish you a nice time reading through our new syllabus. Thank you and have a nice day.